The Oracle Network. Look deeper.
I just want a fucking milkshake, man.
Oh my gosh, yes. We're ordering food. We're waiting for burgers and milkshakes.
Doing another double.
Oh, double up. That's all we ever do.
Because we're going to the coast next weekend.
Yeah. Oh, God, I need to get out of this house before I fucking kill everyone and lose my mind.
Right. I don't care if it's cold. I still need to view the ocean.
I need to breathe different air.
Yes.
Please,
different
environment. Different air. And we're going to get Roscoe. He's going to first time at the beach.
Oh my God, so cute, so grown up.
We have dreamed of taking a dog to the beach every time we have been there.
I know, we watch
years.
Everyone else's dogs play cute little fetch.
Literally watched people's dogs like a creep.
I've always said I wanted to rent a dog.
I think that's a great business idea.
I think so too, because I feel like I have a hard time committing to an actual dog. I feel like that they're a way bigger commitment than cats.
Yeah,
I get that, but I want a dog to take to the beach. I want a dog that I can play fetch with for an hour, and then I can take him back, but he gets to play for an hour at least.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a win-win
with like maybe some rescue places. Can you do that?
I don't know. Seems like a win-win. Maybe not for a rescue, because then they'd be like, "You're my new mommy," and you're like,
"Yeah, that'd be so sad."
No, baby, sorry.
Oh no, I know that's the other hard thing about it. We get attached. So yeah, milkshakes.
Milkshakes.
That's all I'm thinking about is milkshake. Hey friends.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm Abby.
And I'm Shauna.
And this is Anxious
and Afraid.
We're a podcast and we talk about stuff that makes us, have anxiety.
Yeah, or like we're scared.
Like we're so scared. Of like ghosts. And like conspiracies.
Alien abductions, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's what we're about. What are you about? I'll pause. That was super interesting.
Oh, I see what you're doing now. I was like, what?
I also am into that.
Love that for you guys.
Love that for you guys.
So, Abby.
Yes.
Are we doing a question for you?
Well, we're not
We're just going into the corrections that.
Yeah, let's do this is our second episode today. You guys, full disclosure, we just had burgers and milkshakes.
Yeah, so
very full.
Forgive us.
So I don't have anything else that made me anxious or afraid this week. So instead we're going to read a review.
Yeah, but we're going to do my correction first, right? Because I got to get off my chest.
Definitely.
Okay, so I felt like I had a stupid moment because Abby stared at me and I was scared.
And I was probably thinking about something else and then panicked and just stared at Sean. So
at like the beginning of my last episode, I'm pretty sure I said the 19th century for the 1900s, which is incorrect. And I was asking, wait, it's like behind one. So like the 1900s is actually the 20th century.
I think you said backwards, and that's what threw me through a loop. I was like, backwards?
I don't know how to describe it. So I guess I was right, but I was scared. So just to clear that, that's how that works. That's how the years work.
Yeah, and then we had a whole discussion about how I panicked because sometimes I get confused because of Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century. Because I'm like, wait, which century are we in? Because she was in the 21st century, and that seemed like really far ahead. So maybe we're in the 20th century, but it's just because the Disney Channel ruined my brain.
Yeah, that's not how it works. So our perception's all off.
So that was a fun discussion.
Sang the song and everything. I'm not doing it now.
Yeah,
we all know it.
The zoom, make my heart go boom, boom, boom.
My supernova girl. Okay. Anyways.
Let's read a review.
Yes, we have a review that we want to address. No bigsies at all. But it totally reminded us of this. We're like, okay, yeah, we should actually like say something about this.
Yes.
So here's the review. It's a sweet review. We still very much appreciate. And it says
5 stars.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Should I say the name? I don't know if we should.
I don't know.
Sierra Bray.
There it is.
So thank you. And she says the political stories are so interesting, but the commercials cut in randomly and scare the blank out of you.
Shit.
when you have either headphones on or when your car's streaming. And we have noticed this, and we agree with you, girl.
Girl, we hear you. and I have gone back through all the old episodes and adjusted some stuff. So hopefully, I can't help that there's a commercial, unfortunately, and I can't help that sometimes they're abrupt and annoying, but that's what the skip button's for. I didn't tell you that. But yes, I do realize that they were in weird spots, and that's because it's like a auto placement thing on the network we're with. It didn't work out. So anyway, I moved them around. Hopefully they're less abrupt and surprising. And so if you're listening to old episodes, hopefully those are fixed now. It took me a whole evening.
It's aw.
But it's okay because it's worth it. Because it was bothering me that those were in weird spots because it's just not good for flow.
Yeah. And we like changed that in the middle of our catalog that we have now.
Yeah.
Of, like a handful of episodes. So
yeah, no, there was more than 30 episodes that I had to go back and move them around.
Look at us.
Yeah.
What number are we on now?
53.
Nice.
This is our 53rd.
Cool. We're trying so hard.
Look at us chugging along. Well, speaking of chugging along, should we go?
Let's do this.
All right. Let me move around.
Abby.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Shana.
I'm ready.
Okay. So, our episode today will be on a topic that I haven't covered yet, but I really wanted to because I'm obsessed with these stories, and so are you. In fact, we are both so fascinated by this topic that we have to show our lists to Michael so that he can make sure we're not doing the same ones. Because it's like, I feel like our obsessions don't always overlap, but I know this one is one of them that we do.
Okay. Very similar, though, because obviously we have a podcast together. So
Right. Well, but I feel like we have like interests that aren't always the same. Like,
for sure.
you know, like reincarnation, like that's like your thing.
Right.
You know?
I get it. Yeah. We're different.
Different but same. Okay, so today we will be covering a devastating tale of aviation disaster.
Oh my God, I'm too excited for this.
And the person who survived it all in the face of incredible odds.
Oh my God, okay.
Today I will be telling the story of Vesna Vulovic.
Okay.
Okay. So you haven't heard of this one?
I don't think so.
Okay, well hold on to your butts because
okay. Wow. Okay.
They're about to clench.
Okay. So, wow, this is the first time I'm not doing a story on an airplane disaster.
This is my first one.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. These fascinate me. I have so many on my list. I want to do so much more. It's another thing I want to keep doing.
I know. That's why I was like, I hope I have one that you haven't already looked into because we're both obsessed. So it's hard to find one.
That's true.
Okay. So now, as usual, I will start at the very beginning with our main character in today's story, Vesna Vulovic.
Okay.
Or Vulović, sorry. You may have noticed the name is definitely not from white bread America.
Russia?
She was born in Belgrade, which is the capital city of Serbia, which is kind of in that area of Russia, yeah.
Okay.
And if you're still trying to figure out where that is, because like me, you're horrendous at geography, Serbia is a country in Southeast Europe. Mm-hmm. Some of its bigger neighbors are Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria.
Okay.
So over there in that area.
That area of the earth.
Yes.
We're all never going to be good at geography.
I had a public high school education. That's my excuse.
I used to know the capitals. I used to know the states. I don't.
I'm so bad. I've never been good at geography. It's always been a weak point for me. Mm-hmm. Vesna Vulović was born on January 3rd in 1950. And as far as I can tell, she had a pretty normal childhood. Her dad was a businessman and her mom was a fitness instructor. I don't know what. I honestly Google searched what fitness instructors, like what they were teaching in 1950s.
Did you see some cool videos?
I could not find much. I was just like, what was the thing back then? Like it wasn't jazzercise or like.
And they would look probably really done up still, like with makeup and hair.
With the heels.
Those belt machines that just
the vibrating ones. That's the other thing I thought about. You know, when they just like sit on that belt and it just shakes your whole body.
Oh,
and
totally.
It's to, like, make
She's the one who straps you into that.
Yeah, that's her whole job. Yeah, that's fitness instructor. I thought that was interesting for 1950s too, because I don't know. Anyway, so she said she had a normal childhood, and apparently typical for a Serbian child, she ate a lot of spinach, fish oil, and chocolate.
Oh,
Yummy.
at least there was chocolate.
I know. I was like, oh, okay, chocolate at the end. I'll take that. Although fish oil is very good for you.
Also, spinach.
Very good for you.
She's probably so healthy and like what, iron or whatever.
I know. We're like lazy Americans. We're like, ew, spinach. And everyone's like, it's good for you. Eat it. We won't. Give me hot Cheetos. Vesna finished grammar school and then decided to attend university in order to study languages. She especially had a particular love for the English language due to a certain British band taking over the airwaves and eventually the world.
Oh my god, the Beatles?
Yes, girl.
Yay.
Who didn't love the Beatles?
We all have a Beatles phase.
We all
when we discovered the Beatles.
high school, right?
High school.
Michael?
Yeah, high school.
High school.
It regenerated because of the movie Across the Universe.
Yes, we
I
were
was
obsessed. And we were like fucking theater kids, so
it was
of
like
course we were obsessed. It was made for us.
Perfect combination. We saw it multiple times in the theater.
Oh.
I own it.
Yeah.
I want to see it again. Love it.
And I had the soundtrack on my iPod.
Oh my gosh, we would listen to the soundtrack. We were that nerdy.
Oh man, I'm embarrassed for us.
Oh man, high school days. Okay.
So yeah, while she loved the Beatles and like their OG, like they're actually doing it. So that's pretty crazy.
She was there in the hype of it, watching it grow.
How crazy is that?
Insanity.
So their popularity apparently transcended any language barriers for Vesna and her friends, and she fell in love with the songs and the lyrics, eventually leading to her passion for learning the English language. So she attended university for 1 year before deciding she needed some real-world experience if she was ever truly going to get the handle on the language. I mean, English is like really fucking hard to learn, just so everyone knows.
It has rules that don't make sense, and it's like Spanish is easier to learn, actually.
Spanish,
right?
if you
Italian?
can speak Spanish, I think it's a lot easier to learn like French because they're actually kind of similar.
And Italian for sure.
Italian,
I said that weird.
You said it all southern. You said it like,
Southern.
You said like my dad says it. Italian.
I can't help it. It's the phlegm from the milkshake.
Sure, plain dairy.
But they're also very similar. Like all the Romance languages, I think, are very similar.
Yeah, but English is hard to learn.
Yeah,
like all the different twos and theirs and yours, and this is a lot.
I before E, except after C, doesn't apply for most words.
It's a bad rule.
Stupid rule.
I spell things wrong all the time. I'm such a bad speller.
Mm-hmm. I will never know how to spell receive or receipt.
Yeah, we have to say receive. We have to spell receive in our daily job so many times I panic every time.
I know, and we don't have like autocorrection.
It doesn't show if we get it wrong or not.
I must Google this.
Oh God, anxiety. Okay, anyway, so yes, so she's trying to learn English. She wants to go somewhere besides the classroom to like get some real world experience. Mm-hmm. So she decides to travel to England and ends up staying with her parents' friends in Newbury. But Newbury is not where she wants to be. She's a young, super cute little thing, and she wants to get to the big city, London. Mm-hmm. So she spent some time in London, and then she ends up meeting with a friend who suggested they move to Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. I'm not sure how this vibes with like the English learning journey of going to Sweden. It's a huge city. Maybe I'm sure people speak English there too, because everyone else speaks English because they're better than us.
A lot of people are better than us.
Like other countries are like, yes, I speak 3 languages. I'm like, oh, cool.
7 languages. I'm like, wow, like what? I don't even know English.
Sweet. I'm really proud of you and happy for you. Yes. So her fun in Stockholm was short-lived. Her parents found out where she was, and they immediately assumed she was in danger of the drugs and the sex and the alcohols, and ordered her to come back home, which she did. Wah wah. Back home in Belgrade and far away from London, Vesna happened to run into an old friend of hers and was captivated by the smart uniform her friend had on. It was a flight attendant's uniform, just exactly how you would imagine a flight attendant's uniform to look like in the 60s and 70s. It's like
old Pan Am.
It's like turquoise blue, button up, kind of form fitted.
Have a hat.
Skirt, pillbox hat, heels, little neck scarf.
Why is that so like... Why do I love that?
It's so cute.
It is so cute.
Although so impractical.
Oh, yeah.
The heel?
The standards for women? Are you kidding?
They were literally stiletto heels. They
No.
were required to wear 3-inch stiletto heels.
No.
That's the uniform.
Annoying.
And you're like teetering around on a plane trying to serve alcohol?
Just
Right?
wait till you hear how they helped her survive this harrowing tale. Just kidding, they didn't.
Okay. So yeah, imagine like that scene in Catch Me If You Can.
Love that movie
Panic.
so much.
Oh god, that movie is so good.
I also own it. I also watch it a million times.
Yeah, so like where Leo's, the
Just walking
character
down the
sees
hall.
the pilot walking down the hall with all the flight attendants. They all look super cool and glamorous.
Mm-hmm.
So probably a similar moment for Vesna, I would imagine. So she sees her friend looking all fine in this uniform and asks her about her job. So she works for Yacht Airlines, who are now known as Air Serbia, which is it. I'm glad that I heard someone else pronounce it because it's spelled J-A-T. So I'm glad I didn't say like Jet Airlines or just J-A-T, but I think it's Yacht, I guess is how it's pronounced.
Okay,
Probably
cool.
because of a different language. So yes. So they were apparently the national flag carrier, which basically means that they were owned by the government, the airline was,
Okay.
of Serbia, which is kind of an important little factoid there, owned by the government.
Noted.
Noted. Anyway, so Vesna talks with her friend about her job as a flight attendant and finds out her friend had just been to London for the day. And Vesna thought, quote, why shouldn't I be an air hostess? I could go to London once a month.
Mm-hmm.
This was her chance to really see the world, and Vesna couldn't let it pass her by.
No.
In 1971, she applied to become a flight attendant at Yacht Airlines and, much to her delight, got the job.
Nice.
But there was a problem.
Uh-oh.
In order to officially join the ranks of Yacht Airlines, Vesna would need to pass a physical exam, and she knew something about herself that could threaten her dream. Vesna had a history of hypertension, or low blood pressure, something the airline deemed as a risk and didn't allow employees to have.
Yeah, because you're up in the sky.
Yeah, so you could like potentially pass out or get woozy.
Ooh, no.
But she had a plan. Right before her physical exam, Vesna started shooting back coffee like a freshman takes shots in college.
Okay.
She got herself really good and caffeinated in order to raise her blood pressure, and it actually worked.
Whoa.
Vesna was cleared to fly and happily entered the flight attendant training program.
Oh, that sneaky bitch.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
She's like, okay, that's fine. Can I have 8 cups of coffee, please?
we just down these espressos one by one.
I would
double
just be
shots.
shaking so hard.
Oh, yeah. And then, I mean, how do you not, like, shit yourself afterwards? Oh, man.
Like, no, I'm fine to fly. You're just talking really fast.
This airplane has a bathroom, right?
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. And it was only 8 months later that a small clerical error would place Vesna on the path that would change her life forever. 22-year-old Vesna Vulović. Sorry, damn it. It's spelled with a C, so I want to say Vic, but it's Vitch.
It's okay. We're here for you. We forgive you.
Thank you. Is this a safe space?
Yes.
Okay. So 22-year-old Vesna Vulović was told to join the crew of Yacht Flight 367, flying from Stockholm to Belgrade with a stopover in Copenhagen. Or is it Copenhagen?
I say Hagen, but that's probably American.
I know. Is
White
that
of
the
me.
super white bread way to say it? Michael, how do you say it?
Ooh, nope, I don't. I don't say it.
Copenhagen?
I think I'm going to say Copenhagen. Does that sound more German?
Probably.
I don't know.
The opposite of what we think is probably right.
You're probably correct. Okay. So after reviewing the flight roster, Vesna quickly realized that there had been a mistake. This request had been for a different flight attendant named Vesna, not her.
Is this a common name?
Apparently, it's a common name. I have never heard this name before, but it's pretty.
Vesta?
Vesna. It's
Vesna.
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 Vessie. That'd be a cute nickname.
Oh, Vess. I thought you said Bessie.
No, Vessie.
Bessie. Like, I think that's a cow name. I'm not sure.
Continue.
Okay. So, right. Different flight attendant named Vesna, which is kind of crazy. But Vesna had never been to Denmark, and she always wanted to go. So this was the perfect opportunity for her to visit. And so she just went along with the error.
Yeah.
She's like, sure, yeah, I'll go.
Sure.
So she arrived in Copenhagen on January 25th and was super excited because she was getting to stay the night at the Sheraton Hotel, which had always been a dream of hers. I guess it's a really nice.
Fancy.
It's like a nice international hotel.
Cool.
Vesna would have the whole afternoon and the following morning to explore the city and go sightseeing. But she soon found the rest of the flight crew didn't share her enthusiasm.
Oh.
When Vesna suggested they go see the monuments, her colleagues all became uneasy. Many of them reportedly felt a strange sense of impending dread and didn't want to leave the hotel. None of them voiced these feelings, but it was evident in the way that they were acting and talking about their families like they might never see them again.
Okay, whoa. Dramatic.
Instead of sightseeing, Vesna went shopping with the crew members who wanted to buy their loved ones gifts, all but the captain. Apparently, Captain Ludwig Rostri locked himself in his room for 24 hours and didn't come out until they were ready to depart. No reason was given for his behavior.
He just needed alone time. He's probably a Virgo.
He's probably a Virgo. He's like organizing his socks by color and brand.
I feel like that's a necessary thing for us to have to like regenerate.
Lock yourself in a room for 24 hours and not come out.
Or just, yeah, like be alone, be quiet, or just have something to focus on. I don't know.
You should put a sign on the outside of like the door. It says like Virgo recharging, Virgo resting. I don't know. I'll come up with it. Because I have 2 Virgos in my life.
Yeah, you do. Very important ones. Very close to you.
Very, very close and tedious.
I have needs.
Yeah.
And they are plentiful.
A lot of them. I'm the easygoing tourist. So I'm like, sure, whatever you want. Anyway, okay, so pilot's acting kind of weird. Everyone's acting kind of bummed out. All in all, it seemed like kind of a bummer vibe and not what Vesna was expecting.
Yeah, like why? Why? Why are all of them having weird vibes?
They're just having them. They're like, no one says why, or like, but everyone seems to be in this like weird depressed mood.
It's weird that it's multiple people.
Yeah, and they're like in this big city and they have like a whole day.
Like, why wouldn't you want to like maybe go to a museum or whatever?
Yeah, she's like, let's go see like museums. Like, let's go see some cool shit.
Oh my god, that's what you do because you're a flight attendant. You get to travel.
Yeah, that was the whole point. Like, that's why she wanted to do
That's why
this.
it's appealing.
Yeah, so she's bummed out. Denmark was not what she thought. So after breakfast, the flight crew journeyed to the airport to await their flight, which was arriving from Copenhagen. They ended up having to wait a bit as the flight was late. Because of this, they were all standing in the terminal as the flight arrived, and they watched the passengers and crew deplane. Vesna and some of her fellow crew members took note of one man in particular who looked extremely annoyed as he departed. But other than that, everything went smoothly. Vesna and the rest of the crew boarded flight 367 around 2:30, and by 3:15, they were boarded with passengers and ready to take off. Altogether, there was 28 people on board the aircraft, 23 passengers, and 5 crew members.
So small.
Yeah. The plane, a McDonnell Douglas DC-932, was a single-aisle plane that could seat 80 to 135 passengers. So it's like, it's not a huge plane, and it's not packed, obviously. So the plane departed from the Copenhagen airport at about 3:15 on a clear day. The flight was going smoothly. The weather was fine, and there were no signs of turbulence as the plane flew over Hermsdorf in East Germany, cruising at 33,000 feet.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how they all start.
Yep, very nice.
Clear day, no turbulence, everything's fine.
You ready for things to not be fine?
Unfortunately, yes.
I think we should take a break first.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get prepared.
Okay, so they're cruising at 33,000 feet. 46 minutes into the flight, radio transmission from Yacht Flight 367 abruptly cut out. An explosion had just ripped through the baggage compartment on the left side of the plane near the entrance door. Within seconds, the fuselage ruptured and the plane began to break apart.
Oh my god.
The pilots attempted to recover control of the craft after the explosion, but the cockpit would soon separate from the rest of the plane. The official report estimated that it only took 3 to 20 seconds after the explosion for the plane to detach and break away into pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Very quickly. Horrifically, judging from the conditions the passengers were found in, at least 19 of them were sucked from the craft's cabin after the fuselage ruptured and free fell to the earth.
No, that's the worst. No. Because you're falling for a while. You're super aware. You're screaming. You're about to be smashed. Oh my god.
Well, the temperature outside the plane would have been roughly 60 degrees below zero.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm hoping they were instantly knocked out. I'm hoping, because
yeah,
otherwise...
right? You like faint while you're falling.
Well, you're also... like your
Oxygen
the
deprived?
oxygen level obviously
Yeah.
changes so abruptly, so I think it would knock a lot of people out anyway.
Let's hope, man. Whew.
Man, that's all you can hope for. It's like just to
Not
have
aware.
not been aware of what was happening.
Right? Seriously.
Terrible.
Oh my god.
3 of the bodies showed signs of injury before hitting the ground due to the explosion, but the blast was not thought to be the cause of their deaths. So even though they were injured from it, it didn't kill them. The plane broke into 3 sections: the cockpit, the main body, and the tail section, and fell 33,330 feet, or roughly 6 miles, to the ground. The pieces spread out over four areas in Czechoslovakia and landed near a small village called Srpska Kamenice, falling through snowy trees and then finally hitting the snow-packed ground. The bodies of the pilot and co-pilot would later be found still sitting in their seats with their safety belts fastened, feet on the pedals, and hands on the stick controls. Isn't that really sad?
That's
It's
really
super haunting.
Yeah,
like
it
they were
is.
just still
Gripping.
gripping it.
Oh, like you're just, your muscles, like, ooh, this just seems
Like that's just the last thing you were doing.
tensing so hard. Okay.
The official report showed that both pilots were tested and found to be clear of any substances that would affect their flying, such as drugs or alcohol. Shortly after the wreckage crashed down, a local villager and woodsman named, and this is my favorite name of the story, Bruno Honky, or Bruno Honky. He was drawn to the wreckage by the sounds of screaming and the thuds of debris, and horrifically, the thuds of bodies hitting the snowy ground. He heard them landing.
Well, we have that haunting detail too for like 9/11, and that's like the one detail that's just like so haunting.
Oh God, it just makes me...
Hearing the thud and knowing what it is.
It makes me sick to my stomach.
This gives us the most anxiety. This
I know.
is why this is why it's our top
Thing we're obsessed with?
it's terrifying. The most terrifying.
Welcome to Anxious Afraid. We'll never make you fly again.
Good luck traveling.
Have a good flight.
But don't travel. It's COVID. Don't travel.
Yeah, there you go.
You wait. You wait your ass.
If you can. As he ventured closer to the smoldering remnants of Yacht Flight 367, the screams of a woman could be heard coming from the wreckage. Bruno ran to the source of the cries, the main body section of the plane, and saw a pair of legs sticking out of the fuselage wearing turquoise heels. Vesna Vulovic's legs. Vulović. Side note, the section of the plane that Vesna was found in has been disputed. Some reports say that she was found in the tail section of the plane. But Bruno, the guy that found her, swears that she was in the main body section of the plane.
Okay.
So when you read different articles and like when people are trying to argue like how she's survived, some of them are like, well, it's because she was in the tail section. But so that's kind of, I don't know, comes up throughout. But
Okay. Because I was like, why does it matter? But then I see why it matters.
yeah, because they're like the tail section would have fallen like kind of like a leaf falls through the air, so maybe it would have.
And she's like the only survivor, it sounds like, right? You said
Yeah.
that? Okay. So yeah, crazy. Oh, survivor skill. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, crazy. Okay.
So the impact from the fall had been so great that the 3-inch stiletto heel had been ripped from the shoe, even though the pumps still remained on her feet. So like the heel itself ripped off of her shoe.
Just from falling,
From
like
falling.
the wind force?
Just from landing.
Ooh.
From falling that hard.
Okay.
Isn't that insane? It didn't knock off her shoe, but it knocked off the heel.
Okay.
Insane. As Bruno drew closer, he saw that Vesna's once turquoise uniform was now completely stained dark red with blood.
Yeah.
She was in very bad shape and losing a lot of blood, but miraculously still alive. Her body was half in and half out of the plane, with one of her former co-workers' bodies on top of her, and one of those rolling catering carts pinned against her spine, which is what was keeping her body from falling out of the plane.
Wow.
Luckily for Vesna, Bruno Honke had been a medic during World War II. He was not on our side, if you know what I mean.
Oh no.
Hitler. But he was very proficient and managed to keep Vesna alive long enough for the paramedics to get there and take over, which is honestly pretty impressive considering the shape that she was in.
Yeah. Imagine walking up on that shit, like seeing that.
I mean, honestly, that's crazy that someone with that medical experience found her in this tiny village.
That's crazy.
Like, it could have been anyone.
It really could have been anyone.
Or no one at all.
Yeah.
The fact that they landed near a village, like it could have been in the middle of nowhere.
Wild.
Which it kind of was. It was like a little tiny village, but anyway. So Vesna had suffered extensive injuries and would spend the next 3 days in a coma in a hospital in Prague. Her condition was critical. She had broken both of her legs. 3 of the vertebrae had been broken, with one of them being completely crushed in her spine, paralyzing her from the waist down. Her pelvis was fractured. Her ribs were broken. She had metal shrapnel embedded in her body, and her skull was fractured, leading to a brain hemorrhage, which was the worst injury of them all.
Oh, yeah, the brain.
Even after operating on her brain, Vesna didn't wake up, and the doctors feared the worst as they waited for Vesna's parents to arrive from Yugoslavia. So this poor woman was broken up, but somehow still alive after falling almost 6 miles to Earth.
Oh my God. And you're literally broken all over.
Your whole body.
Head to toe broken.
All broken.
All broken bones.
I didn't see anything about her arms, I guess, but ribs, pretty much everything else.
All the big stuff.
Yeah.
Spine, brain.
Spine is a big one.
Ay, ay, ay.
Terrible.
You'd be in the hospital for months.
Yeah. Yep. And she's also like the only survivor. So
Crazy.
That's another crazy part of it.
Totally.
As for the cause of the explosion, an investigation was immediately underway. The official report would come to the conclusion that the explosion had come from an explosive rigged with an ignition charge and a timing device, possibly made from alarm clock parts, which is inventive. The device was placed in a brown briefcase, which was then stuffed with newspapers and rags to mask the contents of the case, and then that briefcase was placed inside of a black suitcase and then stowed in the baggage compartment of the plane.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Layers.
Put that box in another box. Ship it to yourself and you smash it with a hammer. Let's see. Do you know the reference I'm making?
No. Of course not.
Emperor's New Groove.
Shame on me.
Shame on you.
Shame on me.
You should have laughed at that. I'm disappointed.
I failed.
So as for the culprit of the attack, authorities have never been able to track down who placed the case there, but out of all the people who were on the plane. It is possible, with how lenient security laws were back then, that a person could get on a flight, leave their bag in a baggage compartment, and then just get off at the layover and then not get back on. Which is a possibility for maybe what could have happened. Because they saw that guy get off and he was all pissed, and they're like, oh, that guy's pissed. Like, if he never got back on, he could have just left his bag there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Because now if you get off, you have to take your bags with you, even if you're coming back onto the plane, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I mean, I'm not super familiar with the airplane rules now, but I feel like you can't go back on planes. Like,
right, Michael, you have to take your carry-on off with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even if you're getting back on that same plane. But back then, you didn't have to. So,
yeah, new plane rules.
There wasn't a ton of rules back in the 60s and 70s yet. Let's see. So, fun fact. As a result of this tragedy, airline security regulations became stricter, and you no longer could leave your bag when you deplaned.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, at this point in history, airplane bombings weren't something that was happening a lot yet. This attack was only the 15th in aviation history up to that point.
In the whole world.
Yeah, so they're definitely still figuring it out.
How do we bomb planes?
Yeah, they're like, oh, the different ways we can kill people. So you've got to come up with all kinds of fun rules.
I know, yeah, because like all the bad stuff has to happen for the rules to change. Like that's why we have to take off our shoes now, because somebody like
the shoe
put
bomb.
a bomb, in the shoe. So
yeah, you got to wait for a new awful kind of human.
Morbid thoughts,
then you can make new rules.
Ugh.
Terrible. Where am I? Okay, but just because they couldn't find the specific person who committed the attack didn't mean they were unsure of who had done it. Authorities were fairly certain that this was a terrorist attack committed by Croatian Ultranationalists known as the Ustasha, who wanted independence from Yugoslavia. This group was responsible for 128 terrorist attacks between 1962 and 1982, carried out against Yugoslavia citizens and military. Now, so the history of this group, as well as Yugoslavia and the surrounding areas during this time, is fucking complicated. And
you sound defeated.
I'm pretty sure you didn't come here for a history lesson. Not that I could give you one, because I read about this stuff for a week and I'm still confused.
Oh yeah,
like,
no way.
There's a lot of wars, and like things were being renamed, and then they were made into new countries, and then there's Hitler, and there's so many things going on. And I can't tell you about all of it because you'll be bored probably. Well, maybe not bored, but that's not what you're here for. Okay, so, but I will say that the Ustasha is one fucked up bunch of assholes. Do you want to do a creative curse for them?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Asshat fuckwit?
I like it.
Asshat fuckwit.
Bunch of asshat fuckwits. Yes, they were besties with the Nazis, and if you need more reason than that to hate them, they also promoted genocide against Jews, Serbs, and Romani people.
Cool.
Working towards a racially pure Croatia.
Gross.
Kindly trip on a knife.
Kindly trip on a knife. Yeah, they can shut up.
Ugh.
That's gross.
So yeah, we can assume they're horrible and totally capable of a plane bombing. They also personally took credit for the plane bombing the next day, and also for another bombing attack that happened the same day on a train. The bomb exploded on the train, which was traveling from Vienna to Zagreb, injuring 6 people. Even though the official report determined the cause of the crash to be from a briefcase bomb, there was still, of course, those who believed it was all a big conspiracy and that Vesna had duped them all. There's always people that think it's them.
It's always victim blaming.
Right.
Like, oh, you survived, so
Your
you
fault.
did it.
You did it. So some believe that perhaps the plane... I'm just like paraphrasing this whole crazy conspiracy because it's not real, and so I'm not going to get too much into it, but here we go. So they believed that perhaps the plane flew to a lower altitude for an emergency landing, and maybe they flew close to like a sensitive airbase or something. And then the plane was mistakenly shot down by the military. And because they had been closer to the ground, the fall wasn't as great, which is why Vesna survived. And it was all covered up by the government. So there's a lot of holes in that theory. It's just not really worth digging into. Like, they found the section of the plane that had clearly been hit with a bomb from within. Like, there was no, like, exterior like bomb
shooting
damage
down,
to
it's from the inside.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay.
And there was just no other like really supporting. There wasn't a ton of supporting evidence for the conspiracy, so it's just kind of people were just being shitty about Vesna.
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of dudes being dicks.
A woman survived to win.
Oh, some of the articles. Oh God, they're very dated. So okay. So due to the circumstances... so now I'm going to go back into Vesna Vulovic's story.
Okay.
Due to the circumstances of the crime, with no arrests made, and a group of violent radicals taking credit, authorities were worried that someone may come to finish off Vesna, as she may have seen the person who planted the bomb and was the only survivor. Because of this, guards were posted outside of Vesna's hospital room, and changed shifts every 6 hours.
Wow.
Nobody was allowed in except for the doctors and Vesna's parents. However, the threat of Vesna remembering the assailant was irrelevant. After waking up from her 3-day coma, Vesna was super disoriented and confused about where she was. Amazingly, the first thing she weakly asked for was a cigarette.
Aw. I just want my cigarette.
She's like, can I have a cigarette? Can I just have a cigarette?
Come on, I'm totally broken. I just want a cigarette.
I'm really Johnson for a cigarette. She also asked for her mother, her cat, and her dog.
Oh, I would do all
Right?
that.
Yep. Where's my kitty? So her parents were at the hospital when she woke up, and they rushed to their daughter's side. So that's really nice. Vesna was confused and kept asking them why they were here with her in Slovenia. Apparently, Vesna had visited Slovenia before traveling to Copenhagen and thought that she was still there.
Okay.
She had absolutely no memory of the crash and wasn't told about the tragedy until 2 weeks later.
Oh, wow.
She was in such shock and disbelief. The doctors had to show her a newspaper of what happened to truly grasp like the events.
Whoa.
And then Vesna promptly fainted after realizing the gravity of what had happened to her and all of her coworkers and the other passengers.
Everyone you knew.
Yeah. The doctors had to inject her with sedatives in order to calm her back down again.
Wow.
God, that's so fucking rough.
Yeah. They should have let her not remember.
I mean, but you're gonna find out.
Yeah, I know. Like, why else were you in the hospital broken head to toe?
Don't worry about it. But weirdly, Vesna didn't remember any of this. Because of the extensive head trauma, Vesna had amnesia, and her memory was completely blank from 1 hour before the accident until an entire month after it.
That's a gift.
So even though she woke up like 3 days later, she can't remember like almost a month.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
even though she was like awake.
That's a gift.
It's crazy.
Because you don't want to remember the trauma or like remember how much you hurt from all the damage from your head to toe broken body.
That's true. Yeah, if you forgot the first month, it'd probably be some of the worst of it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Let's see. So the last thing she remembers is greeting passengers on the plane, and then nothing until she remembered confusedly speaking with her parents about a month later. Vesna was treated at the Prague hospital until March 1972 and was then moved to the hospital in Belgrade. And can you guess how she was moved? Via airplane.
No.
Something you or I would probably say, oh, fuck no to, but Vesna was totally chill with it. They even offered her injections to knock her out during the trip, but she declined, saying she was looking forward to flying again.
Oh, I mean, if you love it.
I mean, after flying to Thailand, if somebody offered me a tranquilizer for the flight, I'd be like, yes, please, and for seconds.
I know, right? Like, I don't want to experience this. Knock me out.
Somebody told me, they're like, why didn't you take sleeping pills on the plane? I was like, oh my God, why didn't I take sleeping pills on the plane? I was so mad.
I'm so surprised you didn't even think about that.
I didn't even think about it.
Oh
No,
my
I was
God.
a human pillow for multiple people and just suffered through it awake. completely sober.
That's so long.
15 hours.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Thailand was worth it. But Vesna was right. She had no issues whatsoever on the plane, and said because she couldn't remember the accident, flying wasn't scary to her at all. But she was scared of earthquakes and cockroaches.
Oh,
So, she still has fears.
valid. Yeah.
Still has fears. Even though doctors thought she may never walk again, after one surgery, Vesna was able to move her left leg.
Wow.
And only 1 month later, she was able to move both legs.
This is insanity.
Right? Within 10 months, this girl was walking.
Wow.
Walking after damaging her
Falling
spine.
out of a plane.
Yeah. 6 miles.
You're lucky just to be alive if you were
Paralyzed everywhere.
from the neck down even.
That's what you would expect.
That's what you would expect.
It's insane.
Wow.
Well, so she would walk with a limp for the rest of her life, and her spine was permanently twisted. But the speed of her recovery amazed the doctors who were working with her. When asked about her extensive injuries in an interview with the New York Times, Vesna said, "I was broken and the doctors put me back together again. Nobody ever expected me to live this long." Which is, yeah. Vesna attributed her astonishingly quick recovery to Serbian stubbornness and all that fish oil, spinach, and chocolate.
I knew this diet would help me someday.
It's like Popeye. Doesn't he always eat the spinach?
Yeah, and he grows strong.
And he's so big and strong.
Yeah, he's strong to the finish because he eats his spinach.
Got it.
Thank you, Michael.
Very
It's in the
nice.
song.
Yeah.
Garsh.
And equally amazing as her quick recovery was, like, how the fuck she survived it all, right?
Right.
It was a question many were asking and one doctors were struggling to come up with. In the end, her survival was attributed to a few things. Her position in the plane, her previous medical condition, and all the good karma she had saved up to that point. And I added the last one, but I think it has merit. Investigators concluded that Vesna's position in the plane, combined with the food cart pinning her down, saved her from being sucked out of the plane like so many others when the fuselage ruptured. Then the section of the plane fell to the earth and landed on a heavily wooded and snowy hillside, so it cushioned the landing just a little. As for the medical condition that almost kept her from getting the job, it may ironically be the thing that saved her life.
Low blood pressure.
Yeah, because her blood pressure was already low. When the cabin quickly depressurized, Vesna would have passed out quickly, and her condition literally kept her heart from bursting on impact after the fall. How crazy is that?
Speechless. That's insane.
Just so many like little things in the story, like she wasn't actually supposed to be there. She wasn't
Right.
even supposed to actually be able to work there. But then the thing that like
Right.
saved her life, like
That's astonishing.
it's just so many things. It's such a crazy story. And like she survived, so like it's
wild.
it's so crazy. And also suck it, yacht airlines. So she stayed at the hospital in Belgrade until June, followed by a month-long retreat at a seaside hotel in Montenegro, which sounds fabulous.
I'd do it.
She stayed there with her mother and her therapist, and her doctors would come up and check on her every few days. The whole trip was paid for by some big company, but one of the more fucked up things I read about the story was the fact that Vesna's parents both had to sell their cars just to pay for all of her surgeries. Why isn't Yacht Airlines covering those surgeries?
Oh my god, they should pay for all of it.
Why are they paying what? Like
It's never right. It's never fair.
they're just like it like ruined their lives because it just feels
It's
like
your plane.
and
your
you're on
lack
the
of
job.
security.
You're working there.
No.
Not fair. Oh,
That's
so
shitty.
terrible.
Shitty.
That made me really mad.
Yeah, that is.
Oh. And just you wait, Yacht Airlines assholery isn't over yet.
They never like to admit anything, airlines, I don't think. Right?
No, they're bad.
They're just like, "Psh, not us.
They're like, guess what? You fucking need us, so deal with it.
right?
What are you gonna do? Not travel? Eat this terrible food and pay for it, asshole. Okay. So by September of that same year, Vesna was itching to go back to work as a flight attendant. She was like, put me in, coach. I'm ready. But there was a bit of a problem. Since surviving a fall from roughly 6 miles, Vesna had been catapulted into celebrity status. She became a national hero in Yugoslavia.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty big news.
Everyone wanted her interviews, her picture. She was sent loads of mail while in the hospital containing everything from offers of financial help to marriage proposals.
Okay.
Because did I mention she was a babe? Like, she's a total babe.
Oh.
She's so cute. I'll show you the picture. She's like totally 60. She's got like the short, like kind of thick blonde bob with like the fringe and like the thick black eyes, like these big dark eyes. Super cute. And people were creepy about it. There was, oh God, so misogynistic. Some of the newspapers, one like described her as a leggy blonde.
A leggy blonde?
Yeah.
Oy.
They're like, oh, she could be mistaken as a swimming competitor in the Olympics. Like, just going on. I was like,
Jesus.
Why is any of this needed or necessary? Shut the fuck up.
The world is crazy.
That was like back in the 70s, I think, is when I read that old newspaper article. Okay, so when asked about what she thought of all the publicity opportunities, Vesna said, quote, I could do it easily, but I want to forget what happened. Be a normal person. I don't want to capitalize on my misfortune. It would be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I respect it. I think I'd make some money, but that's just me.
I know. I'd make a little and then stop.
I think I'd pay back my parents and, you know,
Aw.
get a book deal.
But I understand wanting to forget it.
Totally. But also, yeah, totally. So, well, it was because of this media attention that Yacht Airlines didn't want Vesna coming back as a flight attendant. They thought seeing Vesna would remind passengers of past terrorist attacks on their airline, and they assumed she would be bad for business. Of course, this is not what they told Vesna. They told her that they were too concerned with her health and mental well-being to fly again, fearing being back on the plane would bring it all back.
Sure.
Sure, yeah, the brain damage was not enough, but yeah, maybe being back on a plane will bring it all back. I wrecked my brain.
And it's if she was back, she would give the bad reputation, not the airline.
Yeah, God forbid.
Itself have a bad
How
reputation.
dare you survive?
Wow.
And want to work for us.
Like, now you're creepy because you survived.
And you want to come back? Ew.
So stupid.
So eventually they gave her a desk job, negotiating freight contracts. Sounds terrible. But Vesna never stopped flying and, in fact, had the opposite experience on flights. Not for work, but for, like, you know, traveling.
Yeah.
Instead of people being unnerved by her presence, they often wanted to sit next to her thinking she was a good luck charm.
Yeah, like, why would it happen twice to her, so?
Or, like, if she survived, I want to be next to her. Maybe I'll survive, too. You know? After the accident, Vesna was honored and given a medal by Tito, the president of Yugoslavia. She became an honorary citizen of Srpske Kamenice, that tiny little town that she crashed down by. And the guy who found her, old Bruno Honke. Bruno Honke? He named his granddaughter, who was born 6 weeks after the crash, Vesna, in her honor.
Oh, wow.
Very sweet. She was inducted into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh, for sure.
For surviving the highest fall without a parachute at 33,330 feet.
Don't break that record, anybody.
God, that's so much.
Wow.
The Guinness Book of Records lists the previous record at 22,000 feet set in 1942 by a Russian pilot named Lieutenant I.M. Chisov. I think it was during the war. He was in a plane, I think. But yeah, he survived 22,000 feet without a parachute.
That's crazy.
I don't think he fell in a plane. I think he free fell. There was some other ones I was reading about that I was like, holy crap, like one guy fell so far and he only like sprained his leg or something, or his ankle. I don't understand.
You gotta tuck and roll.
Yeah, just think bouncy, like
then you become bouncy.
Yes, that's what I heard. That's how it works. In a serendipitous turn of events, Vesna was actually honored at the ceremony for being inducted into the Book of World Records at a London gala where she met Paul McCartney.
Hey, yo, you get fucking meet a Beatle. Yeah, full circle.
Right? Exactly. She also met Billie Jean King, who, a tennis player, I believe, and a man who spoke 32 languages.
32. Wow.
What a fun party, right? That'd be so cool. She apparently told McCartney, quote, "He was the most fabulous man in England, and that because of him, I started flying." She said, "He was so nice. I got to know Linda, too. I was invited to their parties."
Oh,
Isn't that the coolest?
so sweet.
Yeah, he just got to talk to a Beatle. But also I wonder how he felt when she was like, "You're the one that inspired me to fly." And he was like, "Oh, what happened to you?"
Like, it's kind of your fault that
You were a victim of a terrorist attack. You broke your whole body? Oh, okay. You're welcome.
Oh, that's funny.
So, yeah, pretty cool. And I bet that whole party had some really interesting conversations.
Imagine Paul McCartney inviting you to his parties.
Imagine being at a party for the Guinness Book of World Records. Like, the people who attend those.
Yeah, right?
They're all the most interesting people.
Right?
It'd be crazy. But sadly, things weren't always easy for Vesna. Sadly, both of her parents died within a few years of the accident, and Vesna found herself grappling with survivor's guilt, saying, quote, "Whenever I think of the accident, I have a prevailing grave feeling of guilt for surviving it, and I cry. Then I think maybe I should not have survived it at all." Vesna decided to opt for religion over therapy and became a devout Orthodox Christian after the event, saying, "The accident made me turn to God. It also made me an optimist because if you can survive what I survived, you can survive anything."
I would think that too.
Yeah, well, if it made her an optimist, it certainly didn't make her believe herself to be lucky. Mm-hmm. Because everyone told Vesna she was so lucky to have survived, and she hated it.
Yeah, because she still had to go through it, which is not lucky.
Yeah, in an interview with Greenlight, Vesna said, quote, "No, I'm not lucky. I'm not lucky. Everyone thinks that I am lucky, but they are mistaken. If I were lucky, I would never have had this accident, and my mother and father would be alive. The accident ruined their lives too. Maybe I was born in the wrong place. Maybe it was a bad place. Then again, to die is pure destiny. In a plane, or in a car, or in the street. The funny thing is that if you have to die, the easiest way to do so is in a plane. So that's it. It was not my day for dying. It's destiny or fate. I could die now crossing the street." So it's like, man, what do you even say to that?
I don't have words. Like, I agree and I disagree, and I don't know.
She had such mixed views because some people were like, she was an optimist, and in other ones, she was just like, don't tell me I'm lucky. Like, that was a terrible thing that happened to me, and I wish I had died too sometimes. Like,
yeah.
Oh, so heavy.
Yeah, that's complex.
Vesna did meet someone named Nicola Brecka, who was a mechanical engineer, and after a year of dating, they married. They attempted to start a family, but the damage to Vesna's body was too great, and she struggled with fertility.
Bummer.
After an ectopic pregnancy, which almost killed her, they stopped trying for children, and Vesna would never conceive. Even through this heartbreak, Vesna never stopped speaking out against corrupt politics in her native Serbia. She was quoted saying, "I've never been interested in politics. I'm only interested in helping my nation survive." She used her celebrity platform to fight for political justice, and because of that, Yacht Airlines reduced her pay and then forced her to retire from her job after working there for 18 years. Pretty shitty. Pretty shitty.
Wait, so they just fired her?
Basically.
Why?
Forced her to retire. So she still gets a pension, I guess, but...
That's annoying.
Yeah, they didn't like how political she was. So they fired her.
It. Ugh.
Yeah. Real shitty. Around the same time, she divorced from her husband, attributing chain smoking to their relationship problems. I guess she chain smoked and he hated it.
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
Okay.
She was the chain smoker.
Yeah, she wanted her cigarette right after her coma.
Right after her coma. She's like, cigarette. Sure, there's other reasons, but that's the one that she talked about. Vesna pretty much stopped giving interviews later in her life, saying she was tired of talking about the incident, even turning down Oprah and the BBC.
Ooh.
Those
were big ones.
She turned down Oprah.
Damn.
Yikes. I mean, I don't know how you can blame her, especially she can't even remember the accident. So people are always asking her about something. She's like, I was lights out, bye, good night. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Everyone's always like, can you remember? And she's like, no, I told you. Like, I can't remember.
And she's already told the story a million times. Go look it up somewhere else where she already told it.
Like, literally, you could know more online than what I could tell you because I wasn't awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see how that would be really annoying. They're always like, how did you do it? She's like, I don't know.
I waved my magic wand. What do you think I did?
A cart fell on me. Like, just figure that out. So the economic conditions in Serbia were harsh for many citizens, and Vesna was not immune to the suffering. Her apartment was old and broken down towards the end of her life, and she was living alone with her 3 cats on a $300 a month pension. She said she cut and dyed her own hair, and she put on 6-year-old mascara when someone wanted to take her picture. And
6 years old mascara.
Girl, no.
Oh, no.
She said, I don't know what to say when people say I was lucky. Life is so hard today. So sad.
Aww.
She did allow herself one indulgence when funds allowed. Vesna loved going to the movies, particularly plane crash movies.
Girl. What?
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
I don't know. Maybe she's like us. She just has like a weird obsession with it.
I mean, I love world disaster movies.
We also love those things that stress us out. So
I get it.
yeah. And she loves cats. We probably would have been friends.
This is me. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is us later in life.
Yes. This is going to be us. Once Vesna reached her 60s, her health started to deteriorate. And in December 2016, Vesna stopped answering her brothers' and friends' phone calls. A locksmith was called to her apartment to open the door, and Vesna was discovered deceased inside after having passed from heart complications. She was buried in Belgrade, December 27th. And yeah, what a queen. May she rest in peace. And I have one last fun fact. The Mythbusters actually did an episode on this case.
Really?
And they attempted to replicate the fall to see if a person really could survive.
Ooh.
So as you'd expect, yeah, they strapped Buster, their crash dummy, to a plane fuselage, and then they lifted it up with a helicopter super high. They lifted it to 2,000 feet, and because of terminal velocity, after about 2,000 feet, it's all the same whether you drop from 30,000 feet or 2,000 feet. It's going to do the same thing to your body. So anyway, they drop it, and Buster gets completely demolished. But they do come to the conclusion that there is a possibility of surviving if you are in the right section of the plane.
Yeah, I mean, it boils down to just like the position of where you are and just the position of things.
I mean, I get why people say lucky, like you were lucky just because of the way things worked out.
Yeah.
She survived purely on like chance because like,
Seriously.
yeah, but not lucky in the way that you want to be lucky.
No.
But yeah, crazy story.
That's wild.
Isn't that a wild story?
Poor girl.
She was a cool person.
I know. What a queen.
I know. She was just like using her fame for good, and she like didn't really want the attention, but
she's so normal.
she's like, let me speak out for my people.
Yeah. Ugh, love her.
I know.
Good story, Abby.
Thank you.
Fascinating.
Loved it. It was really fascinating to research. And I had to show you pictures of her because she's cute as a button.
I'd love to. Fun. Good job. Cool.
Cool. What else do we have to talk about?
So I guess I wanted to ask you guys another question.
Oh, okay. Me and Michael?
Yeah, a personal question.
Okay.
If you're prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's like kind of another debate topic of like how you do things. How do you use a Q-tip in your ear to clean your ears? What is the process? How many Q-tips?
Sorry.
Abby's dying.
It's fine. How do I use a Q-tip?
What do you do?
And how many do I use?
Yeah.
We've actually, Michael and I have had conversations about this. Because
it came up with me in chat, and I'm like,
Michael and I have different earwax, which is
different kind of earwax.
I didn't realize that there was 2 different kinds.
Oh, me neither.
There's like dry and wet.
Oh, true.
I guess people of like Asian descent usually have dry.
Oh,
Is that correct, Michael?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And us, white people have nasty
Gooey
wet
wax.
gooey wax. Or a bunch of Shreks.
Interesting. Did not know. Fun fact.
I know. And I'm a person who I have to clean my ears every day.
Oh, yeah.
I
love the
have
feeling.
to.
I love the feeling of
Not
it,
because like I like the feeling, but because my ears get dirty fast, and I have to be careful because it's gross. So I use one Q-tip. I just use one side per ear.
Okay.
And sometimes I probably go in there further than I should.
As we all do.
Yeah.
What about you, Michael?
Yeah, that's going to be one Q-tip per ear.
Per ear, okay. Use both sides.
I'm going in there with both ends, and then those are garbage, and then I get one more, and I get the outside of the ear with each end.
Okay, I guess
interesting.
Sometimes I do it different. Okay, sometimes if I'm thinking they're going to be, dirty, like I really need to get in there, I'll use.
Yeah, we're talking about like after shower, wet. You have to clean.
Then
your
I'll
ears.
use one Q-tip per ear.
Really? Okay.
And then I'll use one end to do the outside cleaning, and then one end to do the inside cleaning.
Wow, you guys are thorough as fuck.
You asked.
Wait, so you use a total of 3 Q-tips, Michael?
Yeah, not every time, but typically, yeah.
And you use 2?
I use 2.
Fascinating.
Sometimes I just use one though.
Right. Okay. So I am thanks for asking.
I do want to know what spawned this.
Right. Okay.
Question.
So I'm a girl who does one Q-tip solid. Like I do one side of the Q-tip for one ear, outside and inside. And the other side for the other ear, outside and then inside.
Okay.
Chad, I apparently bring this up every once in a while that I see him clean his ears because I'm just like, you do it that way? And he has to do it 2 Q-tips at a time. So he does both ears at the same time.
At the same time?
Turns them and does them again at the same time.
Whoa.
And I'm like,
what is he, from the circus?
Right. And I was like, why not enjoy each ear?
Also, I'm pretty sure I would be afraid I would stab my brain. Like some uncoordinated shit would happen.
Yeah, I can only focus on one ear at a time. But he's like, you've caught me doing this before. I've done this my whole life. This is how I've always done my ears.
Oh my God, I've never heard of or seen that before.
You want to hear something even crazier?
Yes.
So my oldest sister, she would take care of us as kids and stuff. And she still does this to this day. And David does it now because they were all raised with cleaning their ears this way. Oh, and I hated when she would do this to me.
I know what this is because my mom did it.
Why is it? Okay, so why is this a thing? She would put the fucking dry Q-tip in her mouth.
Oh, wait, nope. This is something else.
Okay, because I was like, normal people do not do this. But she would take the clean Q-tip, lick it, then put it in your fucking ear. So it's a cold licked. Ew! I don't understand.
That's just a Q-tip wet willy.
Exactly. And the whole point is to dry your ear and have the Q-tip absorb the water.
Not okay.
I would hate it every time she would do it to me, and all of her kids do it, I think.
No, my mom would do hydrogen peroxide in the ear.
Wait, why do they do that?
Oh my God, it tickles and it's so cold and it would almost make me lose my mind.
Yeah, I've had to like pour some in my ear before, and I was like literally shaking with the tickles.
I don't know. Spiritually, it's supposed to bubble it out.
But why would you put your Q-tip in it and want that all the time?
No, like just like for like if you were, it was when we were kids. You tip your head to the side, and then she put some hydrogen peroxide. It was a whole thing, and then everyone laughed at the kid that it was happening to because they're squirming around.
You guys were just bored and had nothing else to
we
play
had to
with.
Clean our ears. That was not our favorite pastime. We did do other weirder stuff, probably.
I've always actually wanted to try an ear candle because I've seen them work.
What?
I think. What? You have not seen
like
an ear candle?
Like what? It forms to your ear?
Yeah, you literally put a candle in your ear, you light it. I think you're on your side for like 20 minutes, and like it sucks up like the smoke or whatever, sucks up all the wax.
Oh no, not.
Oh my God, girl! I'm surprised you have it. It's like an old wives' tale-y kind of thing for ears.
Huh? Oh,
interesting that you don't.
I've
know.
done it.
You've done it.
Tell us everything.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, damn it.
I mean, you heard I cleaned my ears very thoroughly. Marcus brought a bunch back from wherever he was working at the time. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, I also tried the neti pot, and I didn't have very much success with it.
I can't do that. I can't do no.
So I don't know. Sometimes stuff doesn't work.
All
what
right.
are you gonna do?
Well,
that was fun.
We all do our ears differently. How do you clean your ears? Tell us.
Also, we
Instagram.
know we're not supposed to use a Q-tip.
Oh. I use other things other than Q-tip, so
Please don't lecture us on how we shouldn't use a Q-tip.
don't do that. Don't
I know
recommend it.
I know I shouldn't, but I'm an adult woman and I'm doing it
Who
anyway.
doesn't fucking use a fucking Q-tip in
Yeah.
their ear?
It feels so. What else? What are you gonna do?
Just be careful with it, okay?
I have gross ears. I clean them. Anyway, on to our regular viewing of.
Do I have to tell them like social needs?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it. All right, so we're on the internet, Instagram at Anxious and Afraid the Pod. Facebook, we're Anxious and Afraid the Pod, a group and a page. We're also on Twitter at AA the Pod. We are also on Patreon, patreon.com/Anxious and Afraid, where you get day early release, a shout out, stickers, and ad free. Like we talked about the commercials, you don't have to deal with that. Just give us $1. And our email for any suggestions is anxiousandafraidthepod@gmail.com. And our website is anxiousandafraid.com. We also have some cute merch, and those links are on our website and Instagram bio. Yeah. So please rate and subscribe and do all the things and tell your friends and keep listening and give us suggestions and all the things.
We have quite the list for you to do, and I hope you do them all.
We need help.
Help us. Help me import. Well, I guess I'm
You're going to say it.
good up and good night.
Good job.
Alright, you guys ready for some credits? So, article by Greenlight, Wikipedia.com, AllThat'sInteresting.com, NewYorkTimes.com, NewspaperArchive.com, The Independent, Unexplained Mysteries podcast, and the Omnibus podcast, which is with Ken Jennings. Music by Broker Free, and we're edited by Michael.
Anxious and Afraid is partnered with the Oracle Network.